Hello, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to make a lalylala Pikachu version. It's a lalylala doll in a Pikachu onesie. I'm going to show you step by step what that you have to do. If you want to make this doll, you'll need skin colored yarn, yellow yarn, red yarn, brown yarn, black yarn, white yarn, eyes, a crochet needle of 4 millimeters, and a stitch marker. First, we are going to start making the arms. For the first round, you have to make a magic ring with 6 stitches on it. You can do this by wrapping your yarn 2 times around your fingers and then pulling the yarn through it, and again to make a stitch. This does not count as a real stitch, but now we're going to make the real stitches. So you go through the hole, take the yarn and go to your 2 stitches on your hook to create your first real stitch. Then go to the hole again, take the yarn again, go through those 2 stitches, and you have your second stitch. So you do this until you have 6. Now we are going to close the magic circle. So you do this by pulling the piece of yarn that's open a little bit so you can see which one is going through, and then you pull it whole through. Now we're going to mark our last stitch so we know where our road starts and ends, and now we can continue with the next round. In the second round you have to stitch 2 stitches in each stitch. You do this by going through the V with your needle, taking the yarn and pulling through, and then you go in the same stitch, in the same V again. Now we're going to the second stitch, so taking the yarn, pulling through, and again in the second stitch, taking yarn and pulling through. You continue to do this until you end up at your stitch marker. Now that we reach the stitch marker, we're going to take him out of our last stitch, and we're going to crochet 2 stitches in that last stitch. Now we made our last stitch of row 2, and we're going to attach the stitch marker to that one again so we know where. In round 3 you crochet 1 stitch in each stitch. At the end you will have 12 stitches. In the 4th round you have to do the same, so you have to crochet 1 stitch in each stitch. In the 5th round we're first going to increase 3 stitches in the first stitch. So we wrap the yarn around our needle, pull a piece of yarn through the first stitch and then pull through do those two yarn pieces, then take the yarn up again, go to your stitch, take the yarn, pull through the two and pull through the other ones, and now do this again for the third time, pull through all of them. This can be a bit tricky. Now we continue this row by crochet 1 stitch in each stitch. So at the end you will still have 12 stitches. In round 6 we are going to start with 1 single crochet. Now we're going to decrease 1, so we put the needle to our second stitch and put it to the third stitch, then pull through. Now we're gonna single crochet 3 of them, so 1, 2 and 3. Now we're gonna decrease 1 again, and now we're gonna single crochet what's left. In row 7 we're going to single crochet every stitch, and at our last stitch we will switch to the yellow yarn for the Pikachu onesie. Now for the last stitch we're going to pull through the body color yarn, but now we're going to take our yellow yarn and pull that one through. Now we are going to make a knot in the yellow and the body color yarn, so it's safe and secure. And we're going to cut the body color loose. Attaching the stitch marker again. In row 8 we're going to single crochet every stitch. In row 9 we have to crochet the half of a stitch, so we don't go through the full V but only through one piece at the very end. In the first stitch we will decrease 1 and then single crochet every stitch. In round 10 we're going to single crochet every stitch, and we're going to continue to do this until row 28. So we will do this for 18 rounds. Now we're at round 28, and for this round you have to single crochet every stitch. This is how the arm will look. You can perfectly see the thumb that we created. In row 29 we're going to decrease one stitch and then single crochet what's left. Take the time to stuff your arm. This can be hard. I do this by pulling the stuffing through with my needle. In round 30 we will close the arm. Fold the arm and close it by crocheting through both layers. Now we are going to make the sleeve. In a particular round I asked you to crochet just through the half of the stitch. Now we're going to crochet through the other half to create a sleeve. Pull the yarn through that stitch. Now go through the other stitch, take your yarn, and pull through. Continue doing this. Now we are at the last stitch, so we're going to slip stitch this stitch with the first one, so it's nice and smooth. We will pull through, cut off the yarn and pull it through. Now we will hide the pieces of yarn by pulling it into the arm. Now we're going to cut off the pieces of yarn. This is what the arm looks like when it's finished. Thank you for watching and see you next time.